Hello, dear friends. The intellect of a human being is valued for its capacity to store uncertainties. Immanuel Kant. Opinion piece. July marks the beginning. Dissemination process. New heaven and new earth. Golden path to a radiant sun. Conversion from hell to heaven. Let's start. July is a key month for sowing the seeds of manifestation, healing, events, and ascension, according to Cobra, due to the energy present for everyone through various planetary configurations. However, those who are more open and willing to receive it will benefit the most. July marks the beginning of a very important phase in the liberation process. The key to the new heaven and the new earth in the great movements of July will be the primary energy interacting during this process. Although no one knows when the visible events we are waiting will occur, the only certainty is that from July 25th onward there will be an improvement and an update of the divine plan. Furthermore, there are dates for the most important astronomical events. The first thing that will happen is the arrival of the positive energy of the new heaven and the new earth, which is already present right now and will continue to grow stronger. There will be a period of time between the event and the ascension so that humanity can enjoy its life in 3D without all the darkness that has made our life so difficult, because many people have many dreams they would like to realize, and they would like to experience the joy of positive creation in the physical world. Cobra doesn't see the event happening right now, but believes that if this activation is successful, the waiting time could be reduced by a few months. The most important thing is to know that this nightmare will end. We don't know exactly when or how, but it will end, and the results are noticeable. Earth's energy is much better than it was 10 years ago, so the important thing is to keep moving forward until we reach the goal. Regarding the current stage of the stalker and the subquantum anomaly, Larker, not stalker, Larker, and the subquantum anomaly, much progress has been made, but there is still work to be done. The problem lies in the innermost layer, the top 30 meters on both the physical and non-physical planes. This presents a great challenge, as this area has remained in darkness for the last 25,000 years, and its cleansing will take time. Significant progress has been made, but we have not yet reached the goal. Golden Age. According to Cobra, the Golden Age will begin after the event, following the arrest of the Cabal and the elimination of darkness. When the new technologies are introduced and medical facilities are installed, when first contact with positive races occurs, and when human beings finally begin to live in peace and harmony. Before this contact occurs, there will be a process of disclosure that is already underway. So not only will there be Pleiadians, but other races will also make contact with individuals. There will be much creativity and spiritual growth and islands of light. All of this is part of the process. The massive astrological configurations occurring in July will be used to create a portal through which to unify our consciousness and activate the process that will further optimize the planet ascension timeline. This will be simultaneous individual and planetary processes. Therefore, some people will experience them sooner than others. Certain situations will be resolved before others. and at some point this will also be felt in the geopolitical sphere. One of the most significant changes that will occur is the beginning of the transformation from hell to heaven, meaning that negative situations will begin to disappear and suffering will be reduced. In other words, things will begin to improve, although we don't know how or when. But this is the beginning of a very important phase of the process. This past May marked the 1-year anniversary of the Great Wesak Gathering of Ascended Masters, held every 100 years in Tibet. It was at this gathering that they declared that darkness of the planet must be eradicated. They are carrying out their plan to defeat darkness day by day, and they are very present in July in this activation energy. They will support that activation from higher planes. Dates. On July 9th, Neptune is positioned at the midpoint between Uranus and Pluto. This is precisely the recent position through which the energetic archetype of the new financial system will be anchored on the physical plane. On July 15th, Uranus forms a sextile with Neptune. Uranus is the planet of rebellion, change and sudden transformation, and Neptune is the planet of mystical, compassionate, spiritual and creative energy. This is a very harmonious configuration that triggers a spiritual awakening for humanity. On July 18th, there will be a trine between Uranus and Pluto, which is also harmonious. Furthermore, Uranus is a planet. This is a time of change. Pluto is a planet of transformation and illuminates our capacity for rebirth and mental healing. It will be a quantum leap toward the next stage of preparation for the main activation. On July 21st, a sextile between Jupiter and Uranus will take place, at which time the third booster meditation will be performed. Boosters meditations work on the same principle as the boosters of a multi-stage rocket. In this way, it is much easier to reach a critical mass than if it were done without them. Through this process, a part of humanity's unconscious field and part of a repressed collective history will have to be released and transformed. The important thing is to reach the critical mass of 144,000 participants. We are beginning to use our free will again on a large scale as we begin to work on our golden timeline. This signifies the beginning of a golden age. That energy was present here from the early 50s until 1986, and that was a period of great awakening. It was a time of humanity's most intense spiritual progress since the time of Atlantis, and that energy is returning after 4 decades. The keys to the new heaven and the new earth were unified for the first time on May 24th, during a significant milestone anchored in Bora Bora. This part is called New Heaven. This is a process by which the absolute source and highly advanced beings of light transmute the hellish condition found here at the quantum level. This has never happened before. After July 25th, this conversion from hell to heaven will begin to transmutate negative situations in plural, in a non-linear fashion. It is very difficult to predict exactly what will be resolved first. When this process begins, people will start to notice things flowing more smoothly. The key to the new earth is intended to create the Lemurian paradise. Lemuria was in the Pacific Ocean and was a civilization that existed before Atlantis. It was a paradisiacal civilization where many cosmic beings landed in their spaceships and guided humanity in perfect harmony. Master Saint Germain is in charge of the New Atlantis project in the Atlantic region, and Ramu is in charge of overseeing the project in the Pacific. The key to the new heaven was born on August 11, 1999, at the time of solar eclipse. The key to the new earth is a subset of that key and was born on August 21st of last year. It is a planet in quarantine and needs a slightly different key. If you connect with the key to the new heaven, you can gain inspiration, connect with your higher self, and experience profound healing. And with the key to the new earth, you can accelerate the manifestation process, especially for abundance and any manifestation related to your physical life. The opal is the stone that activates and anchors the energies of the new heaven. Chitamani stones, emeralds, and opals are the most powerful embodiments of that transformation. It is the most positive archetype that exists. This energy will reach everyone, but it will reach the purest areas with greater intensity. Our first, second, and third chakras are being cleansed thanks to the energy of the new earth. There will be much less fear, much less manipulation, and much less pain. Security is connected to the first root chakra, and the key to security is releasing fear. When you release fear and connect with your higher self, the feeling of security increases. Tiredness. People became tired because they expected results that didn't come and they gave up. They simply want to get their reward, which is understandable, but this needs to be balanced. There is so much darkness on this planet that it takes time to resolve everything. The dark ones know how to cooperate, and that's why they are so effective. But the light ones also need to learn to cooperate to be just as effective. Because of the delay, there are very exotic light bearers who feel they can't go on in this life anymore, both physically and emotionally, and they want to leave this physical dimension. Tired people only need to rest 1 or 2 years. They need time for themselves to rest and recover. If people manifest their golden timeline, this is the best approach to the event, because they will then be less stressed and more balanced. If you are manifesting your golden timeline, there is a moment in the future when that timeline is already manifested, and the future is sending a signal to your present self. In the last 3 years, the light missionaries have carried out many projects related to the planetary light grid, such as Goddess Equator, the Dragon Telluric Lines, the New Renaissance Wesak, the Emerald Light, the Knights Templar, and the Golden Timeline. Since the activation last August, we can begin to use our free will. If you try to manipulate free will of others, you will only confuse them further. The correct approach is to inform people, providing them with the necessary information, and those who are prepared will receive and apply it. The most important thing for manifesting a new society will be for humanity to establish its connection with its higher self, open its heart, connect with its inner child, and reclaim its innate innocence. To manifest our golden timeline, it is essential to connect with our higher self. This improves our lives, and by living better, we embody the archetype of the new paradise. This creates a field of resonance that allows for the liberation of the planet. War. The dark side believes that the war in the Middle East is being used as a confrontation similar to the biblical Armageddon, but that will not happen according to Cobra. What will happen is the end of darkness. They would like to believe that this final battle will solve their problem and allow them to rule the planet, but these conflicts will be resolved as more positive energy flows. There are non-human beings within the administration. According to Cobra, the infiltration of positive Andromedans and Aldebarans into the White House is being orchestrated. Before first contact occurs, there will be a disclosure process that is already underway. Not only will Pleiadians be present, but other races will also make contact with individuals. The basic plan for ascension remains the same, but the improvements are more operational and critical at this time. If this activation is successful, the waiting time could be reduced by at least a few months. If people manifest their golden timeline, this is the best approach to the event because they will then be less stressed and more balanced. If you are manifesting your golden timeline, there is a moment in the future when that timeline is already manifested and the future is sending a signal to your present self. Med beds. Most importantly, of course, will be the medical beds, which will address the population's healthcare situation. There will also be replicators. These are the two main technologies that will be present. What can be done is to eliminate parasites, entities, negative emotions and attachments, and certain mental problems. But for emotional and mental healing, much more conscious participation will be necessary. The most important protection is the connection with the higher self. During the last year, harmful technologies such as directed energy weapons and electromagnetic and infrasonic disturbances were reduced by 50%. The training process will begin after the event. The first islands of light will be located in places of great natural beauty and with the purest possible energy. One of them is Bora Bora. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.